what are we now? April version of the Business Swansea Power Hour. It's actually the second one we've done this month, for reasons that I'll mention at the end. So if you've not been on one of these, the format, it does what it says on the tin. We take a given business topic and look to give you a short, sharp briefing in the space of the 60 minutes or so. So what we'll do is we'll do introductions in terms of who we are. We'll have a informal presentation. Amy will take us through, and then a chance for a sort of an informal discussion at the end of that. And I say doing that all within the hour. So first things first, introductions. So my name is Matt Callaghan. I'm one of the Economic Development Officers in Swansea Council, and we run a number of initiatives, but including the Power Hour, the Startup Enterprise Club, and more recently a series of business grants that we'll come back and tell you about at the end if you're not aware of them already. So I'm joined by my colleague Steve.
Morning everyone, Stephen Williams, Economic Development Officer in Swansea Council. Obviously do the same as Matt, but we also use a lot of LinkedIn to promote our business support activities. So this actual workshop is going to be useful for us as well to help us reach a new audience. Good.
And then Amy, he'll take us through the presentation, but just a quick introduction, Amy, then Amy.
Yeah, hi guys, my name is Amy. I'm a director of the Social Butterfly Marketing. So we're a marketing company. We've been going around 7 years now. We specialise in social media management, and we're based in Swansea as well. So lots of information coming your way about how to utilise LinkedIn. So it's one of my favourite platforms, so it should be a good one.
Great, thank you. And then just before we go around the room in terms of your introductions, a little bit of housekeeping. So first of all is to remind you this session, or make you aware of the fact that this session is recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel either later on today or later this week. So if for any reason you don't want your face to appear on the video recording of that, just toggle the camera button at the top of the screen and to make sure that you don't appear on the recording that's uploaded to YouTube later on. Secondly is that to ask that you mute your microphones whilst the speaker has the floor, just to avoid any background noise. And in terms of questions, the format for this one is slightly different. So if you've been to our sessions previously, we normally say questions at the end. But Amy's quite happy to sort of take questions as we go along. So if you do have a question, just raise your hand and then we can come to you directly during the presentation. So in terms of presentations, Brian, I can see you on my screen. So just tell us about who you are, what your business is, and what brings you here today.
Okay, so my name is Brian Collis. I'm from Swansea, but I'm a director of a social enterprise called Barod. We do make information accessible, and we also do social research. But we've just started trying to market ourselves on LinkedIn. So I'm, yes, a beginner, should we say, and I'm looking to learn how to actually make it work.
Great, I'm sure we can help you with that today. So that's Brian. John. You're on mute, John. Is your microphone enabled, or if not, if you just stick in the chat who you are and where you're from and what brings you here today, I can pick that up. And then we've got Louise here as well.
Good morning. Hi everybody. Hi Amy. I don't know if my camera's on. I think it's not sure.
I can see something, but it's not you.
It's a blur. It is a blur. I'll see if it will get worse.
It is.
Yes. Good morning everyone. I hope everyone's had a nice Easter. So I'm Louise. I am launching a marketing and PR agency. I've been in the industry for marketing for 16 years, but agency side for 8. And this is very much so. You would think that like LinkedIn is my bag, but LinkedIn is where I want to promote. I think it's really instrumental in personal branding and getting that message across and amplifying that to, your proposition. So although I effectively sell social marketing and everything else, but actually it'd be really interesting when I saw this workshop to think, actually LinkedIn would be a really good way of tipping it on the other side for me now and looking at it from a perspective of personal branding and what it can do, because I can see it's a very powerful tool.
It certainly is, yeah. I mean, I certainly put myself in the bracket of I do LinkedIn, but probably don't do LinkedIn particularly well, or certainly not to its potential. We can see, there we are.
Hello.
And just before I forget anything, we do have a Business Swansea LinkedIn page where we post details of all of our events, funding opportunities, so on and so forth. So before I forget, if you are on LinkedIn, go and check out the Business Swansea. Had a note here from John. John owns self-catering holiday accommodation business in Swansea West. The property is on social media channels, but he needs to expand onto LinkedIn as well. So that's all the introductions. I'll hand across to you. I'm controlling the slides, so Amy, if you just tell me when to move on to the next slide, then I can do that for you. So I'll get that up now. It's over to you.
Perfect. Okay, so welcome everyone. So just to give you a bit of background, LinkedIn is probably my favorite platform. You know, we've looked at sort of Facebook and Instagrams, the Twitters, TikToks, but for me, LinkedIn has been one of the best platforms I've been on for about 10 to 15 years. What I would say with LinkedIn, it's effort. So you've got to make a real effort with it. When I work with clients and, you know, we manage their social medias, one thing I do say is that LinkedIn should be something that you do yourself, as well as if you get any external marketing companies to help you with. So we've got an hour now to go through LinkedIn, and I've done it slightly differently in regards to, because we've only got an hour, I've made this very short and sharp, and it's going to be more of a conversation based, where I'm inviting the questions from you as and when we go along, because I feel it's important that you get what you need out of the session rather than me just talking at you for the full hour, because my voice can get a bit draining as well. So at the moment, so could you just raise your hands for me on Teams? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you set up? Are you ready to go? Just a show of hands, yeah? Perfect. Okay, perfect. So we're all on there. John, I can't see. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're all on there. And so are you regularly using it at the moment? Yes, we've got one. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, fantastic. Next slide, please, Matt.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a little bit about my company. So the Social Butterfly Marketing, we've been going, as I said, for 7 years. We work with lots of SMEs in Wales, so not just Swansea, but in Wales, Pan Wales. We specialise in social media management and also external marketing as well. So if you do need any tips or advice after this call, I'm not just going to leave you to it. If you need anything, if you want to have a chat with me to see, you know, if there's anything in here that you need on a one-to-one, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, let's go next. So what will we cover in today's Power Hour? Okay, so we're going to look at the history of LinkedIn. We're going to look at some of the best practices. We're going to look at how to optimize your profile and pages, some hacks, and how to grow your network. Now then, what I would advise is, yes, we're on the call, but LinkedIn, if you've got it up on your screen, whether that be on a mobile phone or on the computer, please, because we're on a kind of virtual setting, it's going to be hard for me to go back and forth. So what I would suggest is, if you've got access to LinkedIn right now, just get it up on your screen so you can follow kind of the hints and tips and some of the things that we've been talking about. And also, if you've got any questions regarding your own profile, please feel free to either pop it in the comment box as we go along, or just speak, because I'm not going to not answer you. Okay, let's go next. So the history of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has been around since 2003. It was actually a recruitment platform before it's become a social media platform. So it's actually where recruitment agencies would go on and kind of match. You can upload your CV, as you can still do, but it wasn't what it's like today. I call it the Facebook of professionals. LinkedIn for me is now like a Facebook of professionals. But back in the day when I was first on it, I remember I was working for Virgin Media and I was looking for other opportunities. Someone mentioned LinkedIn. It was new, it was infancy, and you know, it's kind of where People share news articles, thought leadership stuff, but it's really developed now into a kind of hub and a network for business professionals and those looking to enhance their career. Okay. So why should you use LinkedIn? Okay, so networking. Networking is probably the most underutilized yet, needed thing, especially because of COVID. People were constantly connecting on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's active followers has actually increased since 2020 by a milestone, okay? So we've got more than 740 million users worldwide. Sometimes I get a little bit of, oh my God, if I need to increase my customers or I need to increase my network, I'm thinking, where are they all? 9 times out of 10, I can probably find new people on LinkedIn if I just put some effort to it. There are 740 million users worldwide. If I need to connect to one person, I'm sure I can. Okay, so career advancement. LinkedIn offers excellent platform for career advancement. Now then, one of the things I love about this platform is that you are getting up-to-date and current news and education pieces just by being on the platform, whether that be through, say, Swansea Council sharing grant funding, which is always helpful, and I'm always happy to receive those, or whether it's up-to-date sort of marketing advice from third-party marketers, the leaders, whether that's any charities that are doing some things in the area, whatever it is. LinkedIn normally keeps me up to date without me having to go straight on their pages. It comes up in my newsfeed. Another thing is brand awareness. So I've got a very strong brand on LinkedIn. And what I like about it is when I mention my company name to someone who I maybe not have met in person, they'll say, oh, I've heard of you. And for me, that's all I need. It's like, right, the foot in the door, they've heard of me, they've seen my brand colours, I'm constantly posting on there, and that's a way in. That's a way of making my network a little bit stronger for me as well. So research and market analysis. Now, Brian, you being a social enterprise, okay, you're probably needing a lot of market research sometimes and a lot of feedback. Now, that's something that I do as well. So I actually use LinkedIn and ask my audience questions as well. So if I'm looking at, say, doing an event or doing some more social media stuff, or if I need to know what my clients need in terms of marketing services, price points, anything like that, I've got a ready and willing audience to give me all the advice and pop some comments. And it actually is quite useful to see different opinions on there as well. So I use LinkedIn for a plethora of things, but market research and analysis, just like Instagram, I can get a lot of data back. Now then, what I found is getting feedback at the moment is quite hard. So if I'm doing, say, I for instance, I did an event the other day, I sent out a MailChimp, and people are just not interested in clicking on the links anymore. So what I did then was I asked the question on my LinkedIn instead, and people are responding straight off the bat, and because it's instant. So you're taking away that kind of journey that they need to go on to feedback. You're doing it on the pages as well, which is always good. Business development. I would say probably 80% of my business has been built through LinkedIn and referrals on LinkedIn, as well as messages of people connecting me to certain people that I might use or they might use our services. And that could be anything. So whether it's just a bit of advice about something that's gone on a platform, maybe someone's locked out of Facebook, maybe they need a business card, whatever it is, my business has kind of flourished because I'm active, I'm on there, it's part of my day-to-day routine. And what I would suggest from today onwards is make LinkedIn part of your daily routine. So when you wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast, give yourself an hour, you go onto your LinkedIn, and we're going to look at how we're going to start engaging as well, okay? So the reason you need to be on LinkedIn is because you need to build those relationships and harness them. If you're on there now and again, people aren't going to think it's authentic, and you need to be seen to be heard all the time on LinkedIn. So once a day, just pop on, do a little bit of engagement, post some things, and you'll soon see your network starting to rise and build, okay? And you're getting that brand authority. Then people are going to see you as credible because you keep saying about the same things, and what you're saying is actually going to inform them and educate them as well, okay? So it's a two-way platform, is LinkedIn. So if we go on to the next slide. So we're going to look at some best practices for LinkedIn. So these are the very, very basics of starting on LinkedIn. Why you should be on there, we've already discussed, but what do we need to do? Okay, so when you're writing anything on LinkedIn, you should be using 3 to 5 hashtags. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send you a little link of where you can find some content suggestions. So I'm going to pop in the chat a little link so you can save and watch later. There's some videos on there about writing content on LinkedIn as well. All of these resources are readily available on LinkedIn as well. So I'm not going to reinvent the wheel because I'll be here all day. But what I would say is use 3 to 5 hashtags that are relevant. Now, if you don't know what a hashtag is a keyword that you can use. So if you're talking about anything to do with thought leadership, you hashtag thought leadership. If you're talking about anything to do with business in Swansea, you can hashtag Swansea business. So 3 to 5, you don't have to be doing 30 at a time, 3 to 5 relevant keywords. If you're looking to grow your network to new demographics, using these hashtags can really help. I've trialed out as well using hashtags like I'm from Neath, so I'll do hashtag Neath if I want to be seen in Neath, or I'll do hashtag Llanelli. Whatever it is I'm doing, you make them relevant to your audience. So long and short form content. So with content, there's two people. There's people like me that will ramble on and on and on and on. And then there's people like my dad who will write one sentence and think that's enough. The key is with LinkedIn, you need to do a little bit of both, okay? And further on in our slides, I'm going to talk about what the rule is in terms of writing content on LinkedIn, because it is slightly different. You need to mix it up a bit with long education posts and some shorter, snappier ones, okay? So can I just ask, have all of you got a profile and a business page? Yeah, Brian's got thumbs up.
Yeah,
Steve and Matt. Yeah, Steve and Matt,
sorry.
you're on there too. Okay. So we're going to look at when to use which one, okay? Because it is a bit complicated, and sometimes I even forget that I need to be posting from my business page. But at the same time, if I'm generating business from it already, I'm not to worry. But as you're growing, it's all about brand awareness. Your brand awareness is going to come from your profile and your page, okay? So we need to look at how to set that up. So we've got there to best practice is keep posting consistently. Once a week is better than nothing. Once a day is better than once a week. And posting on weekends can actually really have a really positive influence on growing your network because you're not fighting off competition from the week, okay? And also as well, what I'd like you to all get into the habit of is when you're writing content and you're thinking about what to write on content, stick to what you know. That's the biggest practice that I would say. If you've got, years and years of experience in your role, or years and years of industry knowledge that only you probably know, and if you had a conversation with someone like me, I wouldn't know, then please share everything to do with your topic. Keep your hat on, because what I've seen is over the years, people change their hats or change what they talk about and go into different industries. And that actually affects their credibility on LinkedIn as well. They're not seen as leaders in that industry. So what I would say is stick to what you know in terms of your experience and make sure you are doing some valuable content on there. So Stephen and Matt, you guys are talking a lot about the grant funding, the SBF funding at the moment. You're also talking about, things that we really need to know, but you're going to have to say in a way that's relatable and understand, because some of the language that is used, even on, you know, some of the documents, it can get quite confusing. So make it simple and effective, but make sure you're still informing and educating through whatever you say. As you can see, my slides today are very user friendly. There's not a lot going on in them, but you're getting the gist. And what I'd like you to take away from this is sometimes you don't need to actually write loads of words. Sometimes an image can be just as effective as a long form blog. Okay, so have a think about your target audience. Have a think about, because what we tend to do is we tend to get tunnel vision. Sometimes I speak to clients and I think something is really basic and I can't believe that they don't know this, but they don't. So you constantly have to remember that your audience have no idea what it is that you know, and you need to be able to explain it in a way that they're going to understand. Okay, so does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, I can see a few nodding heads. Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to look at now your individual profiles. So this isn't your business page. This is your individual profile. And here are some key tips for this, okay? So if you've got your profile up, great. Keep an eye on it as we're going through this, okay? So there's two ways of doing this, and I'm going to be telling you something that I'm not actually doing myself, but I'm not actually doing it myself on purpose, because I'm very busy at the moment and I don't want to attract people. So I've actually changed my profile around so that I'm not actually being seen as much as I was. And you can do this as well. If you're finding that your LinkedIn is getting a bit busy and you're getting too many messages and you're getting getting swamped, what you've done previously has worked, but you can dial it down or you can dial it back up, okay? It's all about algorithms, and this is basically, and we're looking now how to grow. So this is a growth algorithm that you can use, okay, and how to optimize it. LinkedIn is the only platform out there that will literally keep bugging you if you haven't set up something on your profile. You'll see it every single day. You'll see it in a box in the left. You'll see it in a pop-up. LinkedIn thrives off you setting up your profile to optimize it to the best performance. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you set up your profile or even your business page, it will prompt you for next steps. So next step, you haven't filled in this, you haven't done this, you haven't done this. So whether it's a cover photo, whether it's your bio, whether it's part of your CV that you haven't filled in, and it'll say, said to me the other day, what years did you go to school? Because I knew that I hadn't put in the years that I went to school, but it's asking me because it wants me to be optimized. But I haven't filled it in because I don't want to be that optimized now. But what I would say is when you set up your profile, even now, because what happens is LinkedIn changes. Go through your profile, your individual profile, with a fine tooth comb. Go through every single box and see that you filled it in. Every single date, every single headline, just make sure you filled it in. And this is before you even look outward to your network. Make sure that you've got the bricks of the foundation, your profile is optimized. I've been working a lot with rugby teams, so the Welsh rugby team at the moment. And what they've done is they get profile photos of them playing rugby where you can't even tell who the person is. So because they're on the field and it's all kind of dark, profile photos, make sure that they're clear, make sure that, it's you, make sure that you're facing the camera and it's very clear. We're going to look at a tool later where you can actually use, if you haven't got a clear sort of profile photo, we can enhance that. On your business page, make sure that you've got a clean and clear logo. So make sure that the dimensions are correct. And if we're going to look at a tool later, that if they're not correct, we can get them correct. Make sure you've got a cover photo. LinkedIn has the trickiest dimensions for a cover photo ever. So people put a cover photo on and sometimes you can't see it properly. Sometimes it's too big, sometimes it's too small. It's renowned. I thought with the mobile app update it would help, it hasn't. So you know, you might need to fiddle around with your cover photo, but make sure that your cover photo on both your profile and your business page has some information about your brand, so your business. So make sure that it has your brand colors, your logo, something, you know, like a little quote or something from there. You don't want to make it too much. It's simple yet effective stuff. So next up is your bio. So this is when you go and connect with someone and you can see their name, and if they've got a privacy setting on, you might not see anything else, but if they haven't, you'll see a little headline. This headline is really, really important for optimization. I've changed mine so that it's not optimized, but the way to write a really effective and optimized bio on LinkedIn, that one sentence, it needs to be short and snappy. So it needs to be an X and Y. So you need to be saying who your target audience is, and you need to be saying how you help them. And that is basically it. So we're going to go in a minute, not yet, onto the next slide, and I'll show you. In terms of content and what to post, okay, short and snappy headlines on content really helps, because what you want to be doing is you want to get people to be clicking the see more button. So I don't know whether you've ever seen people with content and they've put a little emoji of an arrow down, and you've got to click see more. So what the see more button does is it actually triggers engagement. So when people click on that button, LinkedIn recognizes that as engagement. So you get seen by more people. So what I want you to start doing is when you write content on LinkedIn, always start with a really snappy and catchy sentence. Whether that's a question, so, you know, I've done one today, click here to see more, or I can't believe I've just done that, or, you know, make it really catchy. That's a marketing trick, and you can develop that skill. But what you want to do is a small sentence at the top to grab. You want people to be clicking see more to read the chunk of information that's below. So for instance, if I was going to be writing about grant funding, I'd be writing something like, do you fancy 50% off your website fees? Or are you looking for a new website? And it's a qualifying question. So you can say yes or no. The ones that aren't won't read, but the ones who are will click that see more button. So it's a qualifier. And also as well, you want people to be reading what you're saying. So have a think about what it is you're talking about. And what I tend to do is I tend to write out what I want to say and then pull out the bits that are going to be catchy. It does take a little bit of time, but bearing in mind, you're only going to be posting once a day. Once a day, you can spend 10 minutes on your content, okay? So as soon as you click see more, you gain in that more exposure, okay? So you've got your headline and then see more. So you want to make it a bit chunky. Has anyone tried carousel ads, or does anyone not know what a carousel ad is? Okay, I can see some heads, some smiles, some arms. Okay. So a carousel ad, and you would have seen them before. I'm going to try and show you a carousel ad that I do on my LinkedIn here. And once you see it, you'll be like, ah, yeah, I've seen that. Okay. Just realized how dirty my phone is. Okay. Can you see that on my screen? Oh, you can't see it because can you see this? And you sliding across?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So a carousel ad basically is where you're putting graphics to explain what you're talking about. And what it does, it actually creates more space for you than anyone else on your feed. So in terms of being seen and being recognised, a carousel ad is a really good way of getting your point across, because people would rather see nice colourful images than they would read black and white, because that's just human nature. We're drawn to the eye. Now then, LinkedIn doesn't make it easy to put carousels on. It's not as simple as like an Instagram, but it can be done. So I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of how, but basically what you need to be doing is, if you are looking at doing a carousel, you need to create your graphics, and we'll be looking at Canva for that later on. You need to be saving it as a PDF. So I'm going to say here, I'm going to pop this in the chat as well. So you're going to create graphics, so maybe 3 or 4 graphics. Save as a PDF, and then on LinkedIn, you're going to upload the PDF as a document. And that's basically how you get that kind of carousel effect. If your mind is getting blown by that, don't worry, because this is a beginner's course. And basically what I want you to start doing initially is just start posting. Start posting. Okay, now then, people think that LinkedIn is just for Monday to Friday, and it's not. Here's a tip. You'd rather be in a theme park when there's less people because there's less queues. And that's exactly how you should think about LinkedIn. Okay, so when you post on a Saturday or a Sunday, you're actually going to be seen more because there's less people actively on there. What people don't realize is people are still on LinkedIn, but they're not posting. They're scrolling. Because what happens is they don't want to be the ones posting on a Saturday and Sunday because they're going, oh, it's the weekend and I'm not going to post. But we're still on there. So what I would suggest you do, and just trial it out, is whilst you're posting once a day, try posting on a Saturday and Sunday and watch what happens to your analytics. It will increase. I've been trialing this out for most of last year, and even during COVID, engagement was great, obviously across everything. So everyone was bored, everyone was online, but people are still now going online on the weekends. So try doing that as well. Louise, you've put something on the chat. I don't know whether it's a link. Oh no, it's a like. Never mind. Sorry, I'm not used to Teams. Okay, so let's try posting on a Saturday and Sunday. Okay, and outreach and engagement. LinkedIn is a really two-way street, and this is something that I've had to learn, because I can get a bit selfish on LinkedIn, and I can post and expect everyone to engage with me, and then I'm asking myself, why aren't they engaging with me? Well, it's because I'm not engaging with them. It's because I'm being selfish and I'm being lazy, and because I haven't got the time to engage with other people. I don't sometimes. But then what happens is, when I do start engaging with other people, it creates a chain reaction. So when I like something of someone, I get straight to the newsfeed, and you'll see me that I'm engaging with other people. You'll see that I'm commenting on people's posts. You'll see it all. So what I would say is, during your week, and part of the LinkedIn routine is making sure that you've got 5 minutes out of the day. And I kind of cheat the system a little bit, okay? Because I haven't got time to be spending on LinkedIn all day, every day. I've got a life to live and I've got a business to run. But I do spend 5 minutes going through my feed, liking, commenting, and that really has helped my engagement. You know, it's just a little nudge, like, I'm here, I can see you, you're doing great, I'm being someone's cheerleader, and they're going to love me back for it, and they do. Okay, so think of LinkedIn as a two-way street. And we've got some hands up. John, do you have a question, or have you just... If you've got a question, you can't speak, just pop it in the chat, because I've got the chat up here as well. Okay, so does that make sense? So we're going to start posting. So first things first, we're going to get on LinkedIn. We're going to go through our profile. We're going to fill in all the information. We're then going to have a think about we're going to think about our target audience. We're going to change our bio. We're going to change our strapline so that people know exactly what we do. Another thing is, if you're open to conversation, tell people that you're open to conversation. If you're looking for collab work, put it on your strapline that you're looking for collab work. If you're taking on new clients, say you're taking on new clients. If you're not taking on new clients, tell them they follow it. But whatever it is that you're looking for. So Matt, if you're looking to connect with more Swansea businesses, say that literally in the strapline, because people will know, okay, he's approachable. You know, because a lot of people go on there and they do a bit of LinkedIn stalking. It's a bit weird, where you look at people, but you'll never go and speak to them. But if you're becoming approachable straight off the bat, people are more likely to engage with you. At the moment, I don't have anything on there. I haven't got anything where people can talk to me because I just haven't got the time to talk to them. So, but when, you know, you can turn this off and on and make sure that your profile isn't a static thing, because you can change your profile. I would say change it once a month. Change it as and when, okay? And you've got to figure out the right way of using LinkedIn for you. Another thing that I would say about LinkedIn is that, as with anything, you can't always do the same on the mobile app as you can on the desktop app. So what I would suggest you do is, when you're setting up the profile, do it on a desktop. Do it properly and do it on a desktop. Just for that one thing, do it on a desktop, because I've tried doing it on both and the mobile app tends to skip some boxes, and then you go on the desktop and it's like you're only 30% complete. So make sure you're doing all your setup, all your building on LinkedIn. As for engagement and everything else, you can do it on the mobile app. But the most important thing is building that profile. Okay, so have we got any questions about what I've just spoken about there? Is everyone confident in using LinkedIn, first of all? I think I should ask. Is everyone confident in knowing what to write? Yes.
Yeah. I think, Amy, I think one of the things you talked about right at the beginning was kind of like treating it as a like a living thing, you know, like it's, you know, you'd mentioned that you'd recognise that you hadn't been getting the engagement, therefore you'd change things up, and so you started asking some questions. I think that for me was like really, you know, a different angle to look at it than I've looked at it before, but just keep that engagement.
Yeah, and LinkedIn can be, right, okay, social media as a whole is an ego feed. That's all it is, okay? So sometimes you're going to have really good days, and sometimes you're not going to have good days. Sometimes you will get all likes, and then some days you won't get any. And that really does really go to your mental health, because sometimes you feel really popular and other times you don't, okay? And sometimes you think that your business is the best thing ever, and sometimes you're like, why is no one recognizing how good this is? But it's a work in progress, okay? And also as well, what I didn't factor in, guys, I didn't factor in things like this, outside stuff. So I didn't factor in anything like school holidays. Okay, school holidays has a massive effect on engagement. Why? Well, because everyone on my network seems to be out and about enjoying the holidays and not on LinkedIn liking my stuff. So that's one thing. Bank holidays can affect it massively. Things like Christmas, all the holidays, don't expect in December to get much engagement, because it's not happening. Everyone wants to pull crackers and drink wine, okay? That is not going to happen. So just bear in mind that outside influences do affect engagement online, because people do have lives. But the Monday to Friday, really start making an effort on, you know, switching up content, and don't be afraid to switch up the content as well. Obviously, you're not going to be swearing and things on there, but make sure you try and find your brand voice as well.
I just pick up on that point. I can't raise my hand because I'm in control of the presentation, but in terms of the content, that balance between, or maybe there's not a balance, but writing purely work posts, writing personal posts, or I have seen some people sort of blur the lines between the two and sort of do a mixture of two. There was a chap on my feed, he wrote about how he'd been to Euro Disney with his kids. And he was saying about the holiday that he'd been on, but talking about it from the business perspective that he'd witnessed whilst he was in Euro Disney and how their business model works. And I can see sort of arguments for both, because obviously people don't want to read business all the time, because they might want to see the person behind the suit, but at the same time it is a work-driven platform. So what's your view on sort of where that balance lies, or is there a rule to it or not?
So Matt, if you go on to the next slide.
Oh, there we are, look.
Okay.
There we are.
I can't remember where. Ah, there it is. See that big exclamation mark there? So there's been a big, massive study about this and how people are interacting in the page. And it does depend on the individual as to who likes what on the page. So what I found was, this is what my business journey has been like on LinkedIn. Okay, so I started being a business owner in 2016 with no clue what I was doing, but people liked that because I was sharing my stuff. I was sharing that I was going places, who I was meeting. It was very active. Then in 2018, I lost my personality completely and I just became a robot talking about marketing. And my engagement kind of was dipping because I became really boring. Now I've switched it up again. So there's been a study released and it's on HubSpot, you can find it, where they did a survey, and people who use this content rule, which is the 5-3-2. So you can say that I've said post at least 2 to 3 times per week, but if you are posting every day, this is the kind of stuff you should be doing. So 5 shared. So 3 original, so you should be sharing 5 pieces of information per week. 3 original pieces from you, talking about your business, talking about your career, anything like that. 2 posts a week should be something unrelated to the business, something about you and your personality, something fun that happened. I mean, I'm a big dog lover. I've got a rescue dog. She's my world. Sometimes I'll just post her in the office saying, look at this thing by her, she's getting this free labor. But people need to know that you have a personality, because when it comes to meeting you or having a meeting with you, I need to know that you're fun. I need to know that you're going to talk to me. I need to know that if I reach out to you, you're going to be the person that I'm seeing. And some people really struggle with this. I have loads of clients that struggle. Even I struggle with, well, now I've gone past the point of caring, but a lot of people do struggle with, they're working and they're on LinkedIn as an ambassador for their company, and they are a human being as well. So the fine line is, if you do 5 pieces of content, 3 of them are work related and 2 of them are fun, then it's a nice balance. It's a better balance and you get more comfortable in doing it. Does that help, Matt, at all?
It does. Yeah, definitely. It's not a black and white thing, I don't think, is it, from the sounds of it?
No. What the nice thing is about LinkedIn as well is that you're not going to be bombarded with people's plates of food and their nights out and things like that. It's never going to be like that because people get called out on it. They really do. So we're all adults and we both know, like, some of the stuff I put on, I'm thinking, oh, that's to the wire. Some of the opinions I've had on certain things, I'm thinking, oh, that's putting me in a bad light. So I've had to rein it back a little bit. But you can counter anything you put on there. But again, that's part of my personality. I am a bit of an activist. So, that's fine. That's what people get, and people see what they get. So it's your page. You do with it as you please, and you attract the people that you want to attract as well, because, it's about tribe. Okay. So again, we're looking at this business page now. So we've looked at your profile. I'm going to really quickly go through this because of time. But the business page is similar. Okay, so your business page should be fully complete and set up for optimization. Very, very important that you set up this business page just as well as your profile. Please do it on a desktop. Fill out all the boxes. And as you change and grow, make sure that everything is changing and growing with you. If you're having a rebrand, make sure that you're changing all the boxes, because there's nothing worse than having, I'm still doing it now, I'm going through changing bits and my LinkedIn still isn't optimized. Okay, now then, LinkedIn's a bit of a giver. LinkedIn will give you 100 credits. So if you think about it as 100 handshakes to start off your business page, okay? Those handshakes are for you to go and follow people. So what I would suggest is on your business page, invite people you already know on your profile to follow your business page. You will get up to 250 credits a month thereafter. Okay, so what it's doing is it's quality over quantity on this following, and that's what you need. When someone you invite follows you back, you get that credit back, so you can go and shake hands with someone else, or you can go and invite them to your page. Okay, if you've got sales team, if you're lucky enough to have staff, what I would suggest is you give them to your sales, you give admin access to your sales team, and they invite their following onto the page. Okay, but for now, we'll just say it's us. We'll just say it's our following. They're following us. They're interested in us. They're our friends. They're our fans. They need to start liking the page. Okay, and when you go onto the page, you can see there's an invite button. You can send them a personal message. I find personal messages on LinkedIn a little bit creepy, especially if they've done, you know, in a certain way. If you've met them and you've met them for coffee, or if you've gone to a networking event, just say, oh, hiya, I've met you at this event. It doesn't have to be long, just a sentence. You know, I've invited you to like my page, like it, and I like yours, kind of thing. Okay. What I would say is before you invite anyone onto your page, do a couple of posts on the page, because no one wants to go to a party with no one there. And it's the same as a page, okay? So you need to put some content on there, maybe 3 or 4 posts, just if they scroll, they can get a feel for what you're doing, okay? So optimizing the page and getting some content on there. Okay. Does everyone get that, what I'm saying there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Brian, you're going to give me a nod? Yeah, good. Okay, fab. Let's go next. What is this? I hear you ask. What am I on about? Well, this is something that I don't even know that's out there, but this is what I've done and it's been effective. And I'm calling it piggybacking. And it's a really easy way of growing your network to new demographics. It's very sneaky, but it's very good. And it's going to save you a lot of time and effort. And this is called the piggyback effect. So don't do the legwork yourself. Let someone else do it and you piggyback off them, because it's called delegation in a way. But if we go on to the next slide, Matt. This little piggy is going to market. We're all off. We're all off to market. Great. Okay, so we're going to learn now how to utilize other business pages that are already doing well, that we follow. So taking the legwork out to growing our own pages. And this is something I do all the time. And it's a bit naughty, but it's effective and it's free. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the right-hand side here. Choosing our demographic. My target audience is business to business in Swansea. Say, or Neath, or Wales, wherever it is, I'm going to get really clear on my target. So then, what I do is I go on to a popular page. The most popular one at the moment that's having loads of engagement is For the Region, because that's just happened. And they've got thousands of people following that page. I've made it my mission all month to use my credits and go on to For the Region, and I followed whoever's following them, because they are my target audience. They are my prime customers and my prime audience. Swansea Bid also have a really good audience. Swansea Council also has a really good audience. The key decision makers, these are the people that I want. And I use that every month. So every month I get my credits, and every month I'm going, oh, I don't say who do I invite. I say, well, where are they? Okay, so have I utilized everyone that follows For the Region yet? No, I haven't. It's going to take me another 2 months. But I'm making sure I'm making waves and I'm connecting with them personally, and I'm making sure that I'm utilizing that audience there, because they're my audience. So what I'd like you to do is have a think about your audience, get really clear on your audience, and as part of your growth strategy for LinkedIn, go and piggyback off someone who you know is already utilizing that audience, because there's thousands of pages out there. You know, there's thousands of ways to piggyback. Brian, you're going to have a slightly different audience to us. Louise, you're probably going to have very similar audiences to me. John, you know, things like tourism pages, things like that is going to be your go-to. Or if you're connecting with businesses, I'd say everyone piggyback. Everyone do it. Matt and Steve, you guys can piggyback because you're looking for new Swansea businesses. For the region they're going to follow for the region, unfortunately, more than they're ever going to follow the council. That's just the way it is. You know, they've got a better brand, I think. So go and follow personally these people, because you'll find that your network starts growing and growing and growing. Your power hours will be getting busier and busier. You know, your grant funding, there'll be no money left. These are the types of things that LinkedIn can help you do. So another way of doing it is who's viewed your profile. LinkedIn is really weird because it tells you who's been like stalking you sometimes. And if you pay for premium, it tells you everything. So they might not connect with you, but make sure that you connect with them, because that's another way of growing your network. They've searched you for some reason or another. They found an interest in you and they want to connect. So connect with them. And make sure that you're posting people in your story, in your posts. So for instance, this right now is a really good example of how to grow your network. After this session, you should all be going on your LinkedIn. You should all be tagging me, tagging each other, tagging the business, tagging Social Butterfly, tagging Business Swansea, even though I couldn't find them earlier on, Matt. So this is a really good example of how you are going to grow your network through me, through Matt, through Brian, through Louise, because all my network is going to see it and they're going to connect with you. Because these are really interesting people. We're all in Swansea. Amazing. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is everyone going to start piggybacking? Because honestly, it's a time saver. You'll have a lot of fun as well. Exactly. Thanks, Louise. Okay. Does anyone got any questions on that for me? No? Okay. Do you want to just quickly go on to the next one? Okay. Here's 2 other sneaky things that I do. And I do it really well. And it's not stalkery at all, I promise. But it does really help. So, company's house. Sometimes I want to work with a company and I know that I've looked at them on company's house. They're all good, you know, they're a healthy company, and I want to speak to the director. But the director, I can't seem to ring the company and get through to the director. But that director is going to be on LinkedIn. Somewhere, somehow, they're on LinkedIn. So what I would do is I go on company's house, search the director's name, I take the name and I pop it into LinkedIn, and then I connect with that person. I don't go then attacking that person when they accept. What I do is I do a little bit of relationship building. That's the fan. That's the liking, the commenting. I harness that relationship for about 4 weeks, and then I go in for the kill with my message, because I know what they've been posting about. I know what they've been sharing. I know what their interests are. It's a planned attack for a new client because I know what they need. I've been looking at things that, you know, maybe I can help them with a connection. Maybe it's completely unrelated to what I'm doing, but I'm being a help. I'm helping them because I've got a good network. So that's one way of getting through the doors of someone you really need to speak to, LinkedIn. And it's not creepy, it's just building. Instead of using business, because these directors, by the way, sometimes never go to networking events either. So I'm never going to meet them in person because they're too busy. They're never going to pick up the phone. So LinkedIn is a really good way. And events. So instead of using business cards, harness LinkedIn to connect with that connection. You've got them there. You've got them instantly. Start liking a few things, start engaging. Before you know it, your best friends, they're a fan of yours, you're a fan of them, and you're really harnessing each other's LinkedIn power. And the third and final thing is Canva. If you haven't got Canva, if you like me and you can't draw a stick man, Canva is for you. It's free to use. You can definitely create a really simple graphic. You can upload your logo. You can get that brand consistency. So when I was talking about graphics and carousels, use Canva. Canva can be a whole completely other power hour, but Canva, please take a look at it. You can get it on desktop and mobile. And yeah, you'll be addicted. I'm addicted to it. But that's a really easy way to get some graphics on your LinkedIn and make it look a little bit prettier. But yeah, guys, that is a whistle-stop tour of LinkedIn. So have you got any questions or anything for me at this stage? And I think I've done it within, look at that. I miss this part. So if you've got any questions for me or anything we've spoken about, you want to explore a little bit more, just let me know. Or any feedback on that, that would be great.
I had a question about, so we've got a company, I've got a company page, I've got a profile. Profile is a bit of a legacy because I started on LinkedIn about 7-8 years ago in a previous role. And now I'm coming back to LinkedIn. So I've got lots of connections there from a previous role, but it's not the same. So I'm trying to work out how to build the credibility without sort of ditching who I was 6 years ago.
You just, Brian, on that one, what I would suggest you do is by changing the strap line on the bio and making sure that CV is updated on there, you can still utilize all your experience and credibility and endorsements if you've got any on there already, and then you can just start with new content, and before you know it, you'll be increasing your your followers and connections to what you're doing now. So it's not a case of like some people change jobs and they want a new LinkedIn profile, but at the end of the day, the following are people. So these people that have been fans of yours through one time in your life, you're not just going to quit the job and then never speak to these people again. They'll still support you. Big believer in the connection of 6 as well. So you're only 6 people away from the person you need. So everyone who's a fan is a really good connection for you.
Okay. And also that it's the balance between a profile post and a page post.
I do both. So I'm quite lucky that I've got some staff that run my pages for me, and I can just repost on. What I tend to do is I tend to repost from my business page with a little bit of a blurb as to what I think about what's been posted. So it's reposting. So I'm getting my name and my business name and my branding all out there in one go.
So if one-man band. So if I'm creating the content for the business page and put it there first, and then I come in and I then repost that. Yeah. Okay.
And it depends with the engagement side of things as well. You can actually engage as the business page. So you can do both. So if I tend to do personal more than business, and I let my team get on with the business engagement. But I prefer personal engagement than business engagement, 100%. Stephen, question. You've said, right. So what account was I talking through? So the accounts I was talking to John on here was the standard. The features aren't, I pay for premium, but it's gone ridiculously expensive. I don't think you need it. I've literally only gone back on it now for another month because they've given it for free. I wouldn't be paying for it again. How effective is LinkedIn, Stephen, you've asked, through Sales Navigator to reach a wider audience? At what point do you think a small business should consider? Okay, so this one is, I've been going 7 years and I still haven't utilized the organic growth yet. I still haven't got to that sweet spot, and I know I haven't because I haven't got consistent. So what I would say is, if you're looking to go into a new area, so if I was looking to go into Bristol or somewhere like that, I would use Sales Navigator for a short amount of time. However, that would only be after I'd done everything organically possible. So that would be still, following and engaging with certain pages, the councils, the universities, the colleges. Like, I'd utilize that before Sales Navigator. I'm not a big fan of Sales Navigator, and LinkedIn is very organically friendly. It's the most organically friendly, and in terms of what you get back, it used to be Facebook, not anymore. Facebook's a money maker now. LinkedIn has tried Sales Navigator. No worries, Louise, thank you. I think Louise needs to go. But yeah, I think that I think in regards to I would say, smash organic before you go on to sales. You'll know as well if you've done enough,
Excellent, thank you.
So you think on balance, sort of LinkedIn Premium is not necessarily worthwhile
No, I've had it for a month now on this free trial again, because I refuse to pay whatever it is a month. It's got, you know, it used to be like £10 a month, and now it's like whatever it is a month. And I'm a big advocate for LinkedIn, but because it's organic growth anyway, if I put the effort in, it's just about effort. If I can't bother to make the effort, then yeah, okay, I can see more things through premium. But you know, LinkedIn is organically great, so I don't need it. You know, I just don't need the premium. And I'm not looking for a job, and I'm not hiring anyone.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the thing. You know, if I was using it for other reasons, like I've got clients that have massive recruitment, yeah, okay, premium can be better. But I mean, you can still post a job on your pages anyway. So yeah, don't see the point in spending money.
Yeah, there has been occasions if I see someone's got a little gold badge on there, I won't click on it because I don't want them to see that I've been looking at their page. So I guess it can actually be counterproductive in some respects, can't it, as well? Yeah. John, is that a legacy hand, or is that a new hand? I'll assume it's John's typing. Just let. We are pretty much.
I just want to ask a quick question, Amy. How long?
Okay.
I'm assuming like LinkedIn is your sort of online tool of choice, really, with regards to your operations, marketing, and so on. How long do you actually spend, do you think, on average per week with your activity?
I can tell you. I can literally tell. I probably spend about 2 to 3 hours a week across the board. You know, I do love it, but it's more of like I'm nosy as well, so I like to see what other people are doing, and you know, in terms of competition as well, I like to see what other people are doing. But yeah, you know, but it depends. You know, sometimes I'm really busy with my work, as I have been the last couple of weeks, and I've neglected it a little bit. And sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming online. So, you know, I've had to be careful about how much time I'm spending on there, because sometimes I can go on there too much and come away feeling awful. So it's about getting the balance right. Obviously, when I'm doing events and things like that, I'm constantly plugging it, constant. But yeah, you know, it's peaks and troughs with it. But I do spend on average around 2 to 3 hours a week on it.
Excellent.
Okay, so it's just after 5 past. We started a few minutes late, but I think we've pretty much done that in the hour. So huge thank you, Amy, for that session. It was really informative, really useful, and really nice to have something so interactive as well. So that was fantastic. Point noted about Canva. I think we were discussing before the call that I think Canva does warrant a session in and of itself. So we'll look to put that into the programme later this year, because I certainly would benefit from it, and I think a few others would as well. Just a couple of sort of notice board announcements. We've actually got another Power Hour this time next week, unlocking digital skills in your workplace with a view to CPD within that. So make a note of that this time next week as well. That will be delivered in the same format as this one. And the other thing is just a note to go and have a look at the ever-growing YouTube library of videos. We've been running these sessions for about 2 years now, and there's, well, I don't know, well over 30 videos on there. Not least of all, on Thursday, we recorded a session specifically on the new business grants that we're in the process of launching. And that video is now up on our YouTube channel. If you just search Business Swansea on YouTube, you'll find that and all of the other previous videos that we've had. So it's an ever-growing resource, and certainly there'll be something in there which I think, well, I know that you will find helpful. Anything further, Steve, that you wanted to add before we close?
No, but what I will say is, if you can, hopefully you'll find the Business Swansea LinkedIn page. You'll see some of our previous posts about our business grant launch and so on. So take a look, and if any are of interest, we've had quite a high rate of inquiries for those grants that have been launched. Please get in contact with us at growthgrant@swansea.gov.uk.
Thanks everyone for coming along.
Okay.
I hope you found that useful. Thanks again, Amy.
All right, no
and we'll
worries.
see you.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the next one. Thank you all.
Take care.